Welcome to Paper Trail. This is part 1 of unraveling the case of Jacob Juma, the prominent and controversial billionaire businessman. When the news broke on May 5, 2016, that Juma had been shot and killed while driving home on Ngong Road, Nairobi, the story went viral instantly, from local news cycles to international headlines reporting the execution of a high-profile billionaire. Investigators reported that approximately 10 bullets were fired into his vehicle. Yet, upon arrival, police found his 2 mobile phones and cash still inside the Mercedes-Benz. This evidence immediately contradicted the Nairobi police chief's initial statement, which had suggested a random criminal act. This audit reconstructs the sequence of events leading to this incident. By examining verified court records and public filings, we will trace how a prominent businessman became a central figure in high-stakes litigation against the state. Juma's career was built in the complex world of public procurement. The turning point arrived in 2004 when his firm, Audit Supplies, secured a high-profile tender to supply 40,000 tons of maize to the National Cereals and Produce Board. What followed was not just a business deal, but a landmark legal battle. When the government moved to dispute the contract, Juma didn't fold, he took the state to court. He secured a decisive victory, winning a compensation award of approximately $5 million for breach of contract. That settlement did more than just provide substantial capital, it served as his blueprint. It was here that Juma mastered the mechanics of government contracting and the precise legal processes required to enforce those agreements against the state, a skill set that would define the high-stakes litigation he pursued for the rest of his life. By 2012, Juma's profile had shifted from a procurement contractor to a high-stakes disruptor. His involvement in the Kotek mining license and his public refusal to pay an $800,000 bribe triggered a systemic retaliation. When the High Court dismissed his challenge to the license revocation, Juma pivoted, he stopped seeking contracts and began weaponizing the court system to challenge the state's architecture. This transition fundamentally shifted his threat profile. Throughout 2015 and 2016, Juma weaponized his social media presence to systematically dismantle the political narrative surrounding Deputy President William Ruto. His feed transformed into a forensic log of grievances, meticulously detailing everything from historical betrayals and allegations of land grabbing to chilling, direct accusations of state-sanctioned assassinations. By May 2016, the discourse had transcended mere political friction. Juma's final public demands, specifically his insistence on the reclamation of preceded land and the demolition of the Western Hotel, were no longer just criticisms, they were public ultimatums that signaled a final, irreparable breach with the status quo. In 2015, Juma intensified his legal challenges against the government. He filed multiple cases concerning the ownership of land and the management of state assets. Specifically, he took the government to court over the cancellation of his mining license and raised public allegations regarding the sale of Eurobond funds in 2014. Juma's strategy relied on utilizing his access to information to file petitions that required the state to disclose records in court. These actions were publicly documented in the High Court and consistently positioned him as an outspoken critic of the ruling Jubilee coalition. He formally petitioned the High Court to have Kidiro's bank accounts frozen, claiming the funds were misappropriated and that Kidiro was unfit to hold public office. Simultaneously, Juma used his social media presence to position himself as an insider whistleblower regarding the NYS scandal. He frequently utilized his platform to link the NYS crisis to high-level government malfeasance, framing the scandal as a symptom of a broader, systemic failure that he claimed to be documenting through his own forensic research into public procurement records. On the night of May 5, 2016, Jacob Juma's life was brought to a brutal end in what appeared to be a calculated and professional assassination. Around 9:30 p.m., while driving from his business in Westlands toward his home in Karen, Juma was ambushed along Ngong Road, near the Southern Bypass and past Lenana School, a stretch of road deliberately chosen, analysts noted, for its lack of CCTV surveillance. The scene left behind was chilling. His vehicle was found with the engine still running and a door flung open containing 10 bullet holes. Investigators observed that the killers had likely approached the vehicle after the shooting to confirm his death, and evidence suggested that the scene itself had been tampered with to obscure the specifics In a series of aggressive tweets on January 26, 2016, Juma publicly named David Mugonye, the communications secretary for the deputy president, alleging he was coordinating a media campaign to malign his character as a precursor to an assassination. On the same day, Juma went further, publicly identifying Zedok Anjaira, a security and investigations specialist by name, going as far as to detail his residential address. Jacob Juma's final months were a publicly documented journey toward his own execution, a roadmap of accusations, names, and locations that the state dismissed as noise.